I was sitting at my parents' Christmas table, smiling at the tree lights, when I heard my mother's voice drift from the kitchen. "We'll tell her after dinner. She won't say no. It's her family." I froze. My fork hovered over the mashed potatoes. My father's voice followed, low and assured. "Emma won't even use that condo half the year. It's perfect. Rachel needs it more." Rachel. My older sister. The golden child who could do no wrong. I set my fork down slowly, my heartbeat thudding in my ears. If you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to like the video and watch till the end. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I didn't move. I just listened. "She's been struggling since Mark lost his job," my mother said. "And with the kids, they can't afford rent anymore. Emma has that whole place to herself. It's selfish, really. Selfish." The word landed like a slap. I had worked 60-hour weeks for 3 years to buy that condo. I was 28 years old, single, and I'd done it alone. No help. No handouts. Just me, my salary, and a dream I refused to let go of. That condo was mine. And they were planning to take it. "She'll understand," my father said. "Family comes first." I heard the clink of glasses. The sound of conspiracy wrapped in holiday cheer. I stood up. I walked into the living room and sat back down at the table like nothing had happened. My mother came out a moment later, carrying a pie. Her smile was warm. Perfect. She had no idea I'd heard a single word. "Emma, sweetheart, can you help me serve?" "Of course, Mom." I smiled. And I started planning. That night, I drove home in silence. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. I replayed their words over and over in my head. Selfish. Family comes first. She won't say no. I pulled into my building's parking garage and sat there in the dark for a long time. The city lights reflected off the concrete walls. My condo was on the 14th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A view of the skyline that I'd worked myself to exhaustion for. And they thought I'd just hand it over. I walked inside. The silence was heavy. I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my couch, staring at nothing. Then I opened my laptop. I started researching. By midnight, I had a plan. The next morning, I called my mother. "Hey, Mom. I've been thinking about what you said yesterday." There was a pause. I could hear her breathing. "What do you mean, honey?" "About Rachel. About her needing help." Her voice brightened immediately. "Oh, Emma. I knew you'd understand. You're so generous." Generous. I let the word hang there. "I want to help," I said. "Let's talk about it after New Year's. I need some time to figure out the details." "Of course, sweetheart. Take your time. We're so proud of you." I hung up. I wasn't generous. I was furious. But I smiled anyway. Over the next 2 weeks, I played the role perfectly. I showed up to family dinners. I hugged Rachel's kids. I asked Mark how the job search was going. I was sweet. Supportive. The perfect little sister. And the whole time I was setting the trap. I contacted a real estate agent. Quiet. Discreet. Someone who wouldn't ask questions. "I need to sell fast," I told her. "And I need it kept private until the deal closes." She raised an eyebrow but didn't argue. "How fast?" 3 weeks. "That's aggressive." "I'll price it to move." She nodded. "I'll make it happen." I listed the condo for $595,000. Under market value. It would sell in days. Then I started packing. Not everything. Just the things that mattered. Photos. Documents. A few pieces of jewelry my grandmother left me. I boxed them up and stored them at a friend's place across town. I made it look like I was decluttering. Organizing for the new year. No one suspected a thing. On New Year's Eve, my mother called. "Emma, we're coming over tomorrow to talk. Your father and I think it's time." "Sure, Mom. I'll be here." I wasn't lying. I would be there. They just didn't know what was waiting for them. The next day, my parents arrived with Rachel, Mark, and their 2 kids. My mother was carrying a folder. My father had his reading glasses on. Rachel looked nervous but hopeful. I opened the door with a smile. "Come in." They filed inside. The kids ran to the window, pressing their faces against the glass. Rachel looked around like she was already imagining where her furniture would go. My mother sat down on the couch and opened the folder. Emma, we want to talk to you about something important. I'm listening. She glanced at my father. He nodded. Rachel and Mark are going through a difficult time. They need a place to stay. Somewhere stable. Somewhere safe for the kids. I nodded. And we think this condo would be perfect. I tilted my head. Perfect for what? My mother blinked. For them to live in. For how long? She hesitated. Well, until they get back on their feet. Which could be months, my father added. Maybe a year. Maybe longer. I looked at Rachel. She wouldn't meet my eyes. So you want me to let them live here? Rent-free. It's not rent-free, my mother said quickly. They'll help with utilities. And you're barely here anyway. You travel for work. I travel because I work hard, I said. So I can afford this place. The room went quiet. My father cleared his throat. Emma, this is family. Family helps each other. I stood up. You're right. Family does help each other. I walked to the kitchen and came back with a bottle of champagne. Let's celebrate. My mother's face lit up. Oh, Emma. You're really okay with this. I popped the cork. I think it's a great idea. Rachel finally looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Don't say anything yet, I said. Let's toast. I poured glasses for everyone. Even a little sparkling cider for the kids. We raised our glasses. To family, my mother said. To family, I echoed. I took a sip. And I watched them drink. They had no idea. That night, after they left, I sat alone in the dark. My phone buzzed. It was my real estate agent. We have an offer. Full asking price. Cash buyer. Closes in 2 weeks. I typed back, accept it. She responded immediately, done. I leaned back against the couch and closed my eyes. It was happening. 2 weeks. That was all I needed. The next day, Rachel called me. Emma, I just wanted to say thank you again. We're going to start packing this weekend. Mom said we can move in by the end of the month. That sounds great, I said. I know this is a huge favor. I promise we won't be a burden. You're not a burden, Rachel. I heard her sigh with relief. I'm so glad you're being understanding. I was worried you'd be upset. Why would I be upset? I don't know. I know how hard you worked for that place. I did work hard, I said. That's why I know what it's worth. There was a pause. What do you mean? Nothing, I said. Just that I'm happy to help. She laughed, nervous. Okay. Well, thanks again. I'll let you go. I hung up. She had no idea what was coming. Over the next week, I watched them prepare. Rachel posted on Facebook about their new home. She didn't mention it was mine. She didn't mention I was the one giving it to them. She just posted pictures of paint swatches and furniture catalogs. My mother commented, so exciting. You deserve this. I didn't react. I just kept packing. 10 days before closing, my mother invited me to lunch. I want to talk logistics, she said. About the move. We met at a small cafe downtown. She ordered a salad. I ordered coffee. So, she said, we're thinking Rachel and Mark will move in on the 25th. That gives them time to settle before the kids start school again. I nodded. And you'll move your things out by then? Most of my things are already out, I said. She smiled. You're so organized. I try. Emma, I just want you to know how proud your father and I are. Not everyone would do this. I stirred my coffee. You're right. Not everyone would. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You're a good sister. I looked her in the eye. I learned from the best. She beamed. I pulled my hand away. That night, I got the call. Emma, it's official. The sale closed early. Buyer wanted to expedite. Funds are in your account. I checked my banking app. 595,000. Minus fees and closing costs. I cleared just over 560,000. I sat there staring at the number. Then I started laughing. Not a happy laugh. A hollow, bitter laugh that echoed through the empty condo. I transferred the money into a separate account. One my parents didn't know about. One Rachel couldn't touch. Then I texted my landlord at my new apartment across town. I'm moving in early. Tomorrow. He replied, no problem. I spent the next 2 days moving everything I had left. Clothes. A few books. My coffee maker. The condo was almost empty now. Just a couch. A table. A bed. It looked staged. Like a showroom. Like it was never really mine. On the 24th, Rachel called me. Emma, we're coming by tomorrow to move in. I'm so excited. The kids are bouncing off the walls. That's great, I said. Are you going to be there? I'd love for you to see the place one more time before we settle in. I'll be there, I said. Perfect. See you tomorrow. I hung up. I looked around the condo one last time. I'd spent 3 years here. 3 years of late nights and early mornings. 3 years of building something that was mine. And now it was gone. But I didn't feel sad. I felt powerful. The next morning, they showed up with a moving truck. Rachel, Mark, the kids, my parents. Even my aunt and uncle came to help. It was a family affair. I met them in the lobby. Hey, everyone. My mother hugged me. Oh, Emma. This is such a beautiful thing you're doing. Thank you, Mom. Rachel was already directing the movers. Couch goes in the living room. Kids' beds in the back bedroom. We'll figure out the rest later. I watched them carry boxes inside. I watched my father prop the door open with a duffel bag. I watched my mother take photos of the kids running around the empty space. They looked so happy. I stood there, hands in my pockets, and said nothing. After an hour, Rachel came over to me. Emma, seriously. I can't thank you enough. You don't have to thank me. No, I do. This is life-changing. I nodded. It really is. She hugged me. I hugged her back. Then I stepped away. I have to go, I said. Already? Yeah. I have some things to take care of. Okay. Well, thank you again. For everything. I smiled. You're welcome. I walked out. I didn't look back. I got in my car and drove away. And I waited. It took 3 hours. 3 hours before my phone started ringing. The first call was from Rachel. I didn't answer. The second call was from my mother. I didn't answer. The third, fourth, and fifth calls came rapid fire. Rachel. My father. Rachel again. Then the text started. Rachel, Emma, call me. Now. Mom, what is going on? Rachel. The building manager just knocked on the door. He says we can't be here. Dad, Emma, pick up the phone. Rachel. He says the condo is sold. Is this a mistake? Mom, Emma, answer your phone. I turned my phone off. I sat in my new apartment, on my new couch, and I poured myself a drink. Then I turned my phone back on. 55 missed calls. Dozens of texts. Voicemails filling up my inbox. I listened to one. It was my mother. Her voice was shaking. Emma, what have you done? Rachel is crying. The kids are confused. The building manager says the new owner is taking possession today. How could you do this? Call me back. Now. I deleted it. I listened to another. Rachel. Emma, please. Please tell me this is a mistake. We have nowhere to go. The kids are scared. Please. I deleted it. I listened to one more. My father. His voice was cold. Emma, this is unacceptable. You lied to us. You humiliated your sister. If you don't fix this, you're dead to this family. I saved that one. Then I typed out a single text. I sent it to the family group chat. I overheard you at Christmas. Every word. You called me selfish. You planned to take my home without asking. You assumed I'd just give it up because family comes first. So I let you believe it. I let you pack. I let you dream. And then I sold it. The condo is gone. The money is mine. And I'm done being the family doormat. Don't contact me again. I hit send. Then I blocked all of them. I sat there in the silence. No guilt. No regret. Just peace. For the first time in years, I felt free. The days after were strange. Quiet. I kept expecting my phone to ring, kept expecting someone to show up at my door. But no one did. I'd blocked their numbers. Changed my address with the post office. I didn't tell anyone in the family where I'd moved. Not my cousins. Not my grandparents. No one. I went to work. I came home. I cooked dinner in my small kitchen and watched the city lights from my new balcony. It wasn't as nice as the condo, but it was mine. Really mine. And no one could take it. A week passed. Then two. I started to relax. I thought maybe it was over. Maybe they'd finally accepted it. Maybe they'd moved on. Then I got an email. It was from my mother. The subject line read, "Please read this." I stared at it for a long time. My finger hovered over the delete button. But I opened it. "Emma, I don't know what else to say. I don't know how to reach you. Your father is furious. Rachel hasn't stopped crying. The kids ask about you every day. We had to move them into a motel. We're trying to find an apartment, but everything is so expensive. I don't understand why you did this. Yes, we made a mistake. We should have asked you properly. But you didn't have to destroy your sister. You didn't have to humiliate us. We're your family. Please, just talk to us. Let us explain." Mom. I read it twice. Then I closed the laptop. I didn't respond. A few days later, I got another email. This one was from Rachel. "Emma, I'm not angry anymore. I'm just sad. I thought we were close. I thought you loved me. I would never have done this to you. Never. The kids keep asking when Aunt Emma is coming to visit. I don't know what to tell them. I don't know how to explain that you hate us now. If this is about money, I'll pay you back. I don't know how, but I'll find a way. Just please, talk to me. Rachel." I stared at that one longer. The kids. That was the part that almost got me. But I remembered what my mother had said. Selfish. She won't say no. She's barely there anyway. I closed the email. I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Someone had found my new address. I don't know how. Maybe they hired someone. Maybe they stalked my social media. I deleted most of it, but maybe I'd missed something. The letter was from my father. I opened it standing in my kitchen. His handwriting was sharp. Angry. "Emma, you've made your point. You're upset. Fine. But this has gone too far. Your sister is suffering. Your mother is heartbroken. You've torn this family apart over a piece of property. That condo was just a building. Family is forever. Or it should be. But you've chosen money over us. You've chosen bitterness over love. I don't know who you've become, but it's not the daughter I raised. If you don't reach out and make this right, don't bother coming back. Ever. Dad." I folded the letter. I set it on the counter. And I felt nothing. I went to bed that night and slept better than I had in years. A month passed. Then two. The emails stopped. The letters stopped. My phone stayed silent. I started to build a new life. I made new friends. People who didn't know my family. People who didn't ask about my past. I focused on work. I got a promotion. I traveled. I went to Paris for a week just because I could. I was happy. Actually happy. For the first time in my life, I wasn't performing. I wasn't pretending. I wasn't bending myself into shapes to fit someone else's expectations. I was just me. And that was enough. Then, 3 months after I'd sent that text, something happened. I was at a coffee shop near my apartment. It was a Saturday morning. I was reading a book, sipping a latte, minding my own business. And I saw her. Rachel. She was standing in line, her back to me. Her hair was shorter. She looked thinner. Tired. I froze. I thought about leaving. I thought about slipping out before she turned around. But I didn't. I just sat there. And then she turned. Our eyes met. She went pale. For a second, neither of us moved. Then she walked over. Emma. Rachel. She stood there, holding her purse like a shield. Can I sit? I hesitated. Then I nodded. She sat down across from me. For a long moment, neither of us said anything. I didn't think I'd ever see you again, she said finally. I didn't think you'd want to. She looked down at her hands. I didn't. For a long time, I hated you. I really did. I didn't respond. But then I realized something, she continued. You were right. I blinked. What? You were right, she said again. We never asked you. We just assumed. We treated you like you owed us something. Like your success was supposed to be our safety net. That wasn't fair. I stared at her. I didn't know they'd said those things about you at Christmas, she said. Mom told me after everything happened. She said you overheard them in the kitchen. I was horrified. You didn't stop them, I said quietly. No, she admitted. I didn't. Because I was desperate. And desperate people do selfish things. She wiped her eyes. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she said. I'm not asking you to take me back. I just wanted you to know that I get it now. I understand why you did what you did. I didn't know what to say. We found an apartment, she said. It's small. But it's ours. Mark got a new job. The kids are doing okay. We're surviving. That's good, I said. She nodded. It is. She stood up. I won't bother you again, she said. I needed to say that. I needed you to know. She turned to leave. Rachel. She stopped. I'm sorry it had to happen that way. She looked back at me. Her eyes were wet. Me too. And then she was gone. I sat there for a long time after she left. I thought I'd feel something. Relief. Guilt. Satisfaction. But I just felt tired. That night, I thought about everything that had happened. I thought about the Christmas dinner. The secret phone calls with the real estate agent. The moment I sent that text. I thought about my parents' faces. Rachel's tears. The kids asking where Aunt Emma went. And I wondered if I'd made the right choice. Not about keeping the condo. That I'd earned. That was mine. But about the way I'd done it. The way I'd let them believe. The way I'd pulled the rug out from under them at the last possible second. I wondered if I was cruel. Or just finally standing up for myself. I still don't know. But I do know this. I'm not sorry. The weeks turned into months. Life kept moving. I kept building. I started seeing someone. A guy I met at a work conference. He was kind. Patient. He didn't ask about my family. He didn't push. We'd been dating for 2 months when he finally brought it up. You never talk about your parents, he said one night over dinner. There's not much to talk about. You don't see them? No. He nodded slowly. Did something happen? I looked at him. He wasn't prying. He was just curious. Just trying to understand me. Yeah, I said. Something happened. Do you want to talk about it? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Maybe someday, I said. He smiled. Okay. And that was it. He didn't push. He just reached across the table and held my hand. That night, I realized something. I wasn't broken. I wasn't damaged. I was just done being used. And that was okay. 6 months after I sold the condo, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello. Emma. It was my mother. I didn't hang up. I didn't say anything. I just listened. I'm calling because your grandmother is sick. My chest tightened. How sick? Very sick. She's asking for you. I closed my eyes. When? This weekend. We're all going to see her. I'll be there. Emma, I hung up. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want the lecture. I didn't want the guilt trip. I just wanted to see my grandmother. That Saturday, I drove 3 hours to the hospice center. I walked in alone. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I found her room. My parents were there. Rachel and Mark. A few cousins I hadn't seen in years. They all turned when I walked in. The room went silent. My mother stood up. Emma. I didn't look at her. I walked straight to my grandmother's bed. She was small. Fragile. Her eyes were closed. I sat down next to her and took her hand. Hi, Grandma. Her eyes fluttered open. She looked at me. Really looked at me. And she smiled. There you are. Tears filled my eyes. I'm here. She squeezed my hand. I knew you'd come. We sat like that for a long time. She didn't ask where I'd been. She didn't ask about the family. She just held my hand. After a while, she whispered, "Don't let them make you small." I looked at her. What? You were always the strong one, she said. Don't let them take that from you. I nodded, my throat tight. I won't. She closed her eyes again. Good girl. I stayed with her for 2 hours. My family didn't speak to me. They just watched. Silent. Tense. When I finally left, my mother followed me into the hallway. Emma, wait. I stopped. I didn't turn around. Please, she said. Can we talk? There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. We owe you an apology. I turned around. You think an apology fixes this? She looked older. Worn down. No. But it's a start. You didn't just hurt me, I said. You betrayed me. You plotted behind my back. You treated me like I was an ATM. Like my work didn't matter. Like I didn't matter. I know, she said quietly. I know we did. And you only care now because Grandma's dying. She flinched. Emma, that's not fair. Isn't it? She didn't answer. I stepped closer. You want forgiveness? Fine. I forgive you. But that doesn't mean I'm coming back. You're still our daughter. And you're still the people who tried to take everything I built. I walked away. She didn't follow. I got in my car and drove home. I cried the whole way. Not because I regretted what I said, but because I finally meant it. My grandmother passed away 2 weeks later. I went to the funeral. I sat in the back. I didn't speak to anyone. After the service, I walked to her grave alone. I stood there in the cold, staring at the fresh dirt. You were right, Grandma, I whispered. I won't let them make me small. I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned. It was Rachel. I'm glad you came, she said. I wasn't going to. But you did. I nodded. She looked at the grave. She loved you, you know. More than anyone. I know. She took a breath. Emma, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect anything. But I want you to know something. I waited. You were the bravest person in that family, she said. You got out. You built something. And when we tried to take it, you didn't let us. She looked at me. I'm proud of you. I stared at her. I mean it, she said. I'm proud of you. She walked away. I stood there for a long time. And for the first time, I felt something shift. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But maybe understanding. A year after I sold the condo, I went back to the building. I don't know why. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I just wanted to see it one more time. I stood outside, looking up at the 14th floor. The lights were on. Someone else lived there now. Someone else had floor-to-ceiling windows and a skyline view. Someone else's dream. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel angry. I just felt done. I turned and walked away. And I never looked back. 2 years later, I got an email from Rachel. The subject line read, "No pressure. Just wanted to share." I opened it. There was a photo. Rachel, Mark, and the kids standing in front of a small house. It wasn't fancy, but it had a yard. A front porch. A swing set. The message read, "We bought a house." It took a long time, but we did it. I wanted you to know. Not because I expect anything. Just because. I thought you'd want to know we made it. Thank you for teaching me what it means to fight for yourself. I stared at the photo for a long time. Then I replied, I'm proud of you too. I didn't unblock her number. I didn't invite her back into my life. But I let her know I saw her. And that was enough. 5 years after I sold the condo, I bought a new one. This time, it was bigger. Better. A penthouse with a rooftop terrace and a view that stretched for miles. I didn't tell my family. I didn't post about it online. I just moved in and lived my life. I threw a housewarming party. I invited my friends. My boyfriend. People who loved me for who I was, not what I could give them. And I stood on that rooftop, looking out at the city, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Joy. Pure, unfiltered joy. I'd lost a family. But I'd found myself. And that was worth everything. 10 years after I sold the condo, I got a letter. It was from my mother. I almost threw it away. But something stopped me. I opened it. Emma, I don't know if you'll read this. I don't know if you care. But I need to say it anyway. You were right. We treated you unfairly. We took you for granted. We assumed you'd always be there, always say yes, always put us first. And when you finally stood up for yourself, we called you selfish. But you weren't selfish. You were strong. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to come back. But I want you to know that I understand now. I understand why you did what you did. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I hope you're happy. I hope you've built a life you're proud of. I hope you've found people who see you the way you deserve to be seen. You were always the best of us. Love, Mom. I read the letter 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it in a drawer. I didn't respond. But I kept it. And maybe someday that would be enough. I'm 38 now. I have a career I love. A partner who respects me. A life I built from the ground up. I don't talk to my family. I don't go to holidays. I don't pretend. And I'm okay with that. Because I learned something that Christmas night, sitting at that table, listening to my parents plot against me. I learned that love isn't about sacrifice. It's about respect. And if someone doesn't respect you, they don't deserve your love. I don't regret what I did. I don't regret selling the condo. I don't regret the text. I don't regret walking away. Because the moment I did, I stopped being their doormat. And I started being me. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering if you should stand up for yourself, if you should set boundaries, if you should walk away from people who treat you like you're not enough, do it. Don't wait for them to change. Don't wait for an apology. Don't wait for permission. Just go. Build your own life. Find your own peace. And never, ever let anyone make you feel small. Because you're not small. You're powerful. And you deserve to be free. I stood at the window of my penthouse and looked out at the city. The lights stretched endlessly, glittering in the dark like scattered diamonds. My phone buzzed. A text from my boyfriend. Dinner's ready. You coming? I smiled. On my way. I turned away from the window. Away from the past. Away from the family that tried to take everything. And I walked toward the life I'd built. The life that was mine. Completely, undeniably, unapologetically mine. And I never looked back.